8 Super Bowls, correct? That's how many you've done?
Apparently.
You've lost track.
I have.
God bless. Well, that's good to be
Is
in
that
so many
bad?
of them. No, it's not at all.
Because I love each and every one of
No,
them.
I know.
Yeah, I do.
Well, you were there for the Brady ascent
Yeah.
in the last Madden Summerall game. What was it like?
With the hands on the head.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
know.
believe he won a
But
truck.
what was it like that week leading up? It was obviously the Super Bowl that was delayed a week because of 9/11.
Yeah.
U2 was playing halftime. Brady and Belichick had made a Super Bowl that few thought that they could make.
True.
The greatest show on turf was in the building. Marshall Faulk, I know, is a great friend and colleague. That was his hometown.
Yep.
I mean, what was
It's
it
all
like?
of those things.
And Madden Summerall's last game. as it turned
Exactly.
out?
It was. They tended to not add extra pressure based on the bigness of the event. So it was like it always was. It was long days and lots of preparation, talking to a bunch of people, just getting your stuff in order to be prepared to, do the biggest game in the world that day. I took a couple of pictures with Pat and John, but not many. But those are the guys I grew up with. Those were the guys when we sat around in our living room. My dad, my mom, my 2 sisters, and we watched football. Those were the voices. Pat Summerall's voice is unlike any other. But to be in the same room with those guys, I never took that for granted.
Right. What was it like, I guess, for you? I'm just trying to figure out where you came straight from. Well, you were on ESPN.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, we're ESPN alum.
Well, I got there just as you left.
I guess you never looked at the TV again after you left, so you never glanced up at the screen.
No. I noticed you on NFL on Fox for damn sure.
Bless you.
But I just don't recall the actual time when that happened.
Yeah.
So you walk in and there's Madden, there's Summerall in your first production meeting,
Yeah,
right?
terrified.
You were?
I didn't say a word. Apparently, I wasn't supposed to, but yeah. It's
What do you
just
mean you weren't supposed to?
Sideline reporters are, to be seen. I mean, seen and not heard. But
why do you think that? Let's get into that because
okay.
again, I've had lots of conversations. Again, my wife.
Sure.
This is very personal to
Yeah.
me for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And that because she would, when she was doing it, she had tons
Yep.
of storylines. Like she would spend the week calling players' moms and dads
Yep.
and getting photographs from their childhood and learning all of the
I know
storylines,
it.
10, 12 of them. And then she'd come home. Most of that was left
Yeah.
on the
I
floor.
have days like that still. It just still happens. It's very frustrating, especially when you know going in it's going to be a challenge to even try to present these stories to get them on the air. I still go through that. I call players, I get these various stories, and then the game breaks out. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and these stories that you've gathered, there's no place to put them. But one time I remember going in with 7 story ideas or things that I could watch and see if I could add something to them, and not maybe one story out of the 7. But you still have to try. I mean, you don't want to be the weak. You want to try to add something that maybe these guys don't know. But yeah, depending on which group you're working with and how open they are to even having you there, then that determines.
Well, I also
success.
think that sometimes we in our industry get lost in the X's and O's and the whistles and the bells and the next generation stats, blah blah blah, instead of storytelling.
Yeah. Plain old storytelling.
And you, and a sideline reporter, you are not only being able to flesh out some of these storylines, because I want to know why I should care about some of this stuff going in.
Exactly.
Some people might just have a betting line that they're caring about, but it's also very important when something's happening in the middle of the game. You are on the ground.
You're in it. Yeah. That's my job. You're to be, I don't know how many cameras. I had 12, 15 cameras that day, but you are to be an extra set of eyes. And to do that, you need to know what to look for. And that's just from experience. You know when things aren't going well, somebody's getting gashed, running the ball. You focus on, the defensive line and, how much effort they're spending with that. But you eventually learn the ropes and you learn how to kind of do it. But it's the best place to be. And I've loved it and I continue to love it. And, wouldn't give it up for the world.
Would you want to ever try? Would you want to try something else, like play-by-play or something?
Play-by-play has never really appealed to me.
Okay.
I know people think that is probably the end-all, be-all, or what's the next step, but I'm I am happiest down on the sideline, in the trenches, kind of with the guys, and that level of just watching the game. It makes me happy.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.